Hello guys, in this tutorial we're gonna learn about margins, and margins are just space, distance between border and rest of the browser, border and outside world, let's say. So for example, if you wanna create distance between this imaginary point here and top of the browser, then you will say margin top, and I'm gonna use something huge here for illustration, 100 pixels, and now this thing will be pushed down there. See, 100 pixels, right? So the distance, the spacing between the border and outside world, in this case outside world is a browser, because we have only one paragraph in our whole page. Okay, so what about margin right? Can we do that? Well, margin right 50 pixels. Will that work? Well, of course. There you go. So please note that content here will align in a relationship with size of that paragraph generally. So content will fix itself inside of those borders. But margins are margins, just distance. Okay, margin from bottom, and now you will not see this stuff because a difference here is huge. So whatever I put here, like normally something like 100 pixels, that thing will still be up till some here, so you will not actually see the distance. And let me save and let me try to resize this. Maybe you will see that better. Right, so you see something is happening, but you cannot see that obviously because we have that margin here. So margin from here is pushing down there, and this margin is pushing up here. So something is happening with the content. But you see automatically when I pass that 100 pixels, just observe here how scroll will show up. See? There you go. But that's not that important in this simple possible case. The most important thing is that all these things are working, like margin from left. So let's do that. Margin from left will be 50 pixels, something like that. And again, content will fix itself, hopefully. There you go. Now, here's a question. Can we use a CSS one-liner for margin? Well, sure, let me delete this, or actually let's have it for reference because I need to use same pixels. Why not? Because we need same result but with one liner. So margin, and from the top we're gonna have 100 pixels, from left we're gonna have 50 pixels, from a bottom we're gonna have 100 pixels, and from a left we're gonna have 50 pixels. And now we will have totally same result, so no changes here. There you go, guys, very cool stuff. But my best advice is to use like a constant margin, like 5 pixels or 3 pixels, something like that, especially when you're creating sidebar on the left or right or something like that, depends what you do. So 5 pixels will probably get the job done in most cases. See? Because the moment when you use one number here, then that number will be applied all over the place. Okay, 10 pixels. And if you use two numbers here, can you do that? Like a 50 pixels and 75 pixels. Will that work? Well, yes, it will work. So here's explanation. 50 pixels will be distance from here to here and from here to here. You don't see this, but trust me, it's there. And 75 pixels will be for this distance and for that distance. But if you're kind of confused, then either use a number here, number of pixels, or use 4 of them. I think that's clearer, to understand. It depends how you think. Okay, but what about multiple paragraphs, for example? Can we do that? Well, sure. Let me clean this for simplicity reasons, and I'm gonna go to HTML file and I will copy this line down there so we have two paragraphs, and we're gonna differentiate between them by classes. Why not? This one will be A and this one will be B, something like that. And here I'm gonna target A, and let me copy paste to save a little bit of time. I'm gonna target B paragraph here, right? And here we're gonna have two paragraphs. There you go. So how to create distance vertically between them? Well, the easiest thing is to go here in a first paragraph, and you can say margin bottom, because bottom, because you're pushing basically content down there. You're pushing this whole stuff with the border around it down there for example 100 pixels, and you will get that distance now. And of course you can use something insane like 500 pixels, something like that. It will work. Okay, so let's revert to something normal like 50 pixels. There you go. Okay, can you operate just on that one from left and from a right side? Well, sure, you can do that by stating margin left will be 75 pixels and also margin right will be 75 pixels, and yeah, that's it. But let's have, what's the problem here? Oh yeah, so but let's have this like a red. So border, a color, red. Save and refresh, and there you go, guys. You can experiment a bit. When you have multiple colors, like 3 of them, then you have nice result. But when you start with some insane combination of colors, like 10 of them, then you will get into rainbow tables, and you will confuse yourself, and your website will probably look ugly, something like that. So stick with a couple of colors, like neutral ones, and the whole books are written about color combination, but I'm obviously not expert in colors, as you can see. Anyway, so yeah, if you are kind of confused with this margin left, this and that, then just use, margin 10 pixels for A and margin, 20 pixels for B. And that will get the job done all over the place automatically. Something like that. Oh yeah, margin. Just margin. There you go. Okay, thank you for watching, and as always, see you next tutorial.